Good morning, gardening friends. It is Sunday, the 24th of August already. It's 8 o'clock in the morning, and it is a beautiful 76 degrees outside in my Mobile garden. It's actually, the humidity's not too bad this morning. I was out playing with the kittens after I had fed them in the backyard, although they're not really kittens anymore. But here, not too much has changed. Everything's about the same. It was a fairly uneventful week. We had a couple of days of note where it did not rain outside, so I was able to actually do a little painting in the backyard. So in lieu of gardening, I did some painting. Ooh, my little clock is going off for 8 o'clock. In any event, let's take a look outside. Ooh. My lemongrass is starting to recover from being sheared back. This particular batch of lavender, I don't know why, I guess it was protected by the lemongrass, but when I put it out in the open, it seemed to have burned a little. But here everything is looking good. The blackberries are coming in nicely for next year. Hopefully I'll have another good blackberry harvest then. I did enjoy them this year. Oh my goodness, the okra is back again. I have to go ahead. This one's way too big to use. I have to remember to keep picking it at a small stage. Caladiums are looking fine in the front yard. Actually, everything is doing well. The heat of August has kicked in this last week, and unfortunately I lost most of the a lot of the flowers on the one orchid that I have in my den. I don't know if it was just their time. I don't get upset over it because I did enjoy the orchid for about a month, but because of the heat, I kept my blinds drawn most of the week, so there was no sunlight in the room no natural light other than the lamp light, and it didn't seem to like it because a bunch of flowers fell off all at once. This little petunia is doing a little better. I never had these before because I don't like petunias usually. Mini Famous, okay. Pink Strike. They tend not to do really well in the deep south. Oh, I didn't even see that. Scared it away. Hopefully you saw it. A dragonfly. Everything here is just looking very lush. This is big trash week, so I'll be doing a push to do more trimming. I think I'm going to limb up some of the bottom branches on the Australian tree fern to make it look more like a tree fern. Definitely have to clean up the bananas. The bananas are some maintenance this time of the year because just about every couple weeks there are dead branches that you have to cut off. Well, you don't have to. I choose to cut off because they really draw your attention. You have that lush green look and one yellow leaf draws your attention to it. So I'll clean that up this week. Oh, I see the bees are out again, working over the wandering dudes. The kittens in the back are still dumb because they like to chase those bees when they see them. I figure they'll get bit one time or stung one time, and that'll do the end of that. Oh, it looks like I'm in process of losing one of my plants here in the front. No problem, I'll pop another one in. Every now and then one just catastrophically passes. Everything here is growing up nicely. The hydrangea, limelight, is filling in nicely. It's actually grown to a pretty nice height now. I need to stake up this, the cassia. It's gotten a little leggy. I really need to trim over here. It'd be a good day to do it today since it's nice and cool and the humidity's not too bad, but unfortunately, it is a Sunday. It is my day of rest, so I'm not going to do any work today. The fig has really grown. I would say that's about 10 feet tall now. For 1 year's worth of growth, that's not bad. Of course, it probably won't live through the winter that way, but it'll be what it'll be. Hopefully I'll get some figs next year. Yeah, here you can see the camellias need just a little topping at the top, for me at least. Mexican petunias are still in bloom, and the bees are working them over. Everything here is still looking lush and green. I do have to still weed over here. That's the one good thing about gardening this time of the year. There's not a lot you have to do. And the good thing about putting weeding off, if there is such a thing as a good thing, is the weeds get bigger and they compete with each other and kind of kill each other out a little bit, and you're left with huge weeds, which are really easy to pull out. But get them before they go to seed. That's the only little caveat. I'll get to them eventually. This might be a good week to do it. It's supposed to be cool for at least another couple days. This palm is not looking good. It looks like I'll have to read up on it. It does look like it's got some kind of a fungus, so I'll probably have to spray it. It's got a white powdery thing all over it. Not so much on the new growth, but I will look it up. I have oil sprays for them that I have used in the past. Gardenias, that's the name of that I couldn't think of. Crepe myrtle is still looking good in the front yard. I don't know why, but even in the front yard, all of my thyme is kind of dying out at the same time. Maybe it might just be a thing it's going through this time of the year, but I wound up buying a couple more pots of thyme for the backyard. This rosemary has done really well. Of course, I got a large plant earlier in the spring. It likes its life there, as does that lavender. That lavender's been there now for 3 or 4 years. My prickly apple is doing fine here, or datura. Opening up, no blossoms right this minute. But it also kind of looks pretty once when it has these prickly apples all over it. Do beware, however, they do reseed or seed themselves. Caladiums came out really nicely this year. Well, I planted them this year. They look good over here. Hopefully they'll come back. We'll see what comes back for next year. My neighbor's white rose of Sharon is looking nice. I can center the blossom for you. It is nice when it's not over a sidewalk because those flowers fall off constantly. Oh, I see I have a bunch of flower buds. This camellia has not bloomed all that well in past years, at least the past 3 or 4 years. But it looks like it's got quite a few buds on it this year, which will be nice. I was excited this morning when I went through here to unlock the gate, but I like the way this fence is being overrun with vines until I noticed this is that dread weedy vine, and that one will go to seed in a skinny minute. So this week I will have to attack that and get rid of it. The jasmine is doing fine though. I planted that. That's new for this year. And it's doing quite well over there. It likes its life. That one actually has made it up to the trellis, so I'll start training it on that little trellis across the top. The kittens have gotten to the colocasia, but that's okay. That's a weed there. If you leave that, it will start springing up 6 feet all over the place. I have to make sure that my ground ginger doesn't get covered over. I'll have to go and do a little weeding this week. Oh, there's Dee Dee. Dee Dee is going to be my next indoor cat. She is going to, I brought her to the vet a couple of weeks ago and started her treatment of, well, her initial inoculations. And don't tell her anything, but 2 weeks from this Wednesday, she's going to get spayed. She's the only female cat that I have, and she's very friendly. I don't want to say she's Mimi's replacement, but she's in the wings. Lots of buds on that camellia, which is nice. Same here. Lots of flower buds. So they're showing a lot of promise. Here's what I spent 3 days of the week doing. I used to be able to do it in one, but now that I've gotten older, I have to take my time. But it was dry enough that I was able to put another coat all over the front of this garage. The Garçonniere. Did the white and the turquoise. I didn't do the doors. I'm going to paint the doors a gloss white. But I bought the paint, but it started raining the next day, so I was thankful I got the few days in that I did. I did hear back from my carpenter, who if you recall from 2 years ago, if you've been around long enough, I used to have wrought iron trellises on either side of this garage. I took it down to fix the rot that has since been repaired. And in any event, they were burglar bars that I bought years ago. The one thing Mobile is known for is wrought iron work in the older buildings. And so I like the look of the wrought iron on either side of this garage here. And if you can see where I'm pointing, over there. Oh, that's funny, I've got my reflection there. In any event, over there, I used to have a conduit that went halfway up the wall. And that was the reason I put it there, was to disguise the conduit. But when the wall rotted, I had an electrician come and sink the conduit. You can just barely see it over there. It's low now, so I don't necessarily need to put anything on these walls. But I do like the wrought iron. And where I was going with this long story is I got them at an antique shop years ago. And they are slightly different sizes. And they were able to cut one of them down. So it should do quite well when they have them put on the walls. And that should happen this week. I started cleaning up in the back here, moving things around. I haven't quite decided what I'm going to put back here yet, but at least I cleaned it up some. I decided to move the little banana over there because that's the drip for my AC when it's on, and it's a shame to waste water, have it drip into the pot. My asparagus is still coming up despite the cat's attacks. This may be the caladium bulbs that I moved to the front yard because these are the same as the ones in the front. But yeah, like I say, spent most of the time on the garage this week. Here's where I replanted the thyme, one here and one on the other side. Hopefully it will grow. I do like to use thyme, which is a shame that it doesn't seem to want to grow for me. I also like bay leaves, but the bay leaves I don't have trouble with. Since I decided to let it grow into a bay bush instead of a bay tree, I have plenty of leaves. Here all is well. Not much has changed since last week. These bananas I did clean up this week, so they look green and lush. And they are huge. Oh, there's Peanut. The other three cats, Peanut is the black and white cat, and the other two are ginger cats. One has a fluffy tail, hence I named him Fluffy, and the other one doesn't, so I named him Felix for no reason whatsoever. Here everything is just looking nice and green. This was cleaned up last week. It's still looking okay. Loquats are sending out their flowers. They're not open yet. It's a little early, but it is what it is. Oh, the squirrels were here again, knocking down pieces of my palm. They like to, ooh, that must have hurt looking up at the sun. They like to rut around in the leaves up there. Got a lot of kumquats. They're not turning orange yet, but they are full. Hopefully they'll be due. They usually ripen in time for Thanksgiving, so I can make my kumquat cranberry compote. Strawberries still have some flowers. The yellow knockout rose is starting to bloom again. I do like the rose hips in the back there, so I leave them because they add a little color besides the rose itself. This is one of the areas I want to attack this week, is the fence, because it has a lot of stuff growing on the top of it. So I'll clean that out little by little. But it's a very pleasant morning this morning. I'll probably sit out and read for a while. The plumeria is starting to really flush out. The leaves are getting huge. No more flowers, but that's okay. I think that's the most leaves that that's ever had. There's some of the stuff I'll be cutting off the top of the fence. I don't mind it being up there. I just don't want it looping way over, because those vines will entangle with everything. And here the cassia is looking fine. Uh-oh, I see something's been jumping in my lavender. Need to fluff it out some. But yeah, the cassia is still going strong, has plenty of buds to come yet. I don't know about the bottlebrush tree. It does not look promising. I don't see any sprouts. It sort of limped along this year, but I'm not quite ready to yank it out yet. That cassia I need to straighten. It's listing. When I get up and trim the fence, I'll fix that. But yeah, everything is looking good this week. The cicadas are out. Sounds like he's around here somewhere. It's actually quite quiet today. You can hear the fountains going. Of course, it's still early. Church traffic hasn't hit us yet. I did do a little planting here this week. I replenished some of my pots and put out some new pots. Got rid of a few dead things. I got the pentas. This is the time of the year that I get pentas and Mexican heather because, for one, it's the only thing they sell at Lowe's. So I got 2 pentas and 2 Mexican heathers. I had to stake up this begonia. It has done so well that when I water it, it has started flopping apart and flattening out, which is not a good thing. Cardboard palm looks fine. These were all the new leaves from this year. It's a little less thuggish looking now since I cut the old branches off. There's the Mexican heather. It's kind of an odd looking plant, but it's one of the few that will bloom in this heat straight through till the first frosts. And then the first whisper of a frost will kill it back. Back in here, all is well. Marigolds have come back after being flattened once by the cats. They are resilient. My Nepenthes has sent out all kinds of pictures. This branch, although it has some yellow in it, it's got a bunch of new growth showing. This one has started branching. I never had branching until this year. So this is my first Nepenthes. I think this is year 3. Sarracenias are looking fine. Gaillardia is still in bloom. There's another Mexican heather. I also repotted that basil because I had it in a small pot and it was drying out every day. I cut it back, that's why it looks so pitiful, but it will sprout back. And of course all the sedum is still growing. It's growing in no dirt, and in the dirt, and on the deck where it's fallen on the deck. So it likes its life back here. Oropetalum, after I trimmed it back, has started sending out blossoms. It usually does bloom in the fall and winter. The hummingbird came through this morning. He likes to come through about 7 o'clock every morning to replenish the hummingbird feeder. By the way, I don't bother buying hummingbird food anymore. I found a recipe on YouTube. A lady in California has hundreds of hummingbirds, and it's a really easy recipe. You don't have to heat it or anything. It's basically 1 cup of water, a full cup of water, and a 1/4 cup of regular granulated sugar, and stir it until it dissolves, and presto, put it in the container. Of course, you have to clean that container out well, but the hummingbirds like it fine, and it's a lot cheaper than buying that red stuff. It's probably better for the bird without the artificial coloring. Uh-oh, someone is falling. Oh, that was Fluffy. He jumped down from the top of the fence. But there you have it for the day. More flowers on the loropetalum. So yeah, next week you should see some wrought iron going up. The other thing that I did have to do this week is this poor Nico blue hydrangea that I replanted or planted. I have now realized, regardless of the little bit of rain we get every day, I need to water it, because I got here a couple of days ago and it was absolutely wilted to nothing. So it came back. Some of the older leaves fell off, but it is okay now, and I'll just every morning I throw a bucket of water on it, I guess, until the heat of the summer is past. And also the bougainvillea is coming back again. So there you have it for the day. The Gara looks pretty today. I'll leave you with a picture of the Gara. Kind of looks almost like butterflies. Let me get out of the sunlight so you can see them. But there you have it. I hope you all get to get out in your gardens and enjoy them this week. Till next week, take care.